Hello, my name is Andy Barton and I'm one of the health and safety consultancy team working with Avonshaw, helping to deliver quality health and safety solutions that are tailored to individual client needs. This health and safety practical support video is the 7th in a number of short narrated videos, with each module taking around 15 minutes to explain and help position the content of a particular health and safety element being featured. Hopefully you've already watched the first of these short narrated videos, which explain what Avonshaw Health and Safety Consulting is and how it works, before going on to introduce the topic of risk assessment. If you haven't watched that first video, can I suggest that you close down this module and go and start with risk assessment before returning to this subject. This is the 7th module within Avonshaw's set of health and safety practical support videos, and this one centres on the use of display screen equipment, DSE. Now, DSE includes desktop or laptop computers, but also any display screen showing letters, numbers, or graphics. They can be liquid crystal LCD or light emitting diode LED or OLED, or indeed plasma screens. Although not likely to be deemed as significant a hazard as many other workplace items, poor use of DSE or poor equipment and poor setup can still have a negative impact on employees' health. If display screen equipment is not used correctly, it can lead to injuries and illness. Now, boredom, dissatisfaction and apathy can result from poor job design, inadequate user control, poor system performance, or lack of information and training in the systems or the software. Aches, pains or discomfort in the neck, back, arms or shoulders can result from poor posture and lack of breaks, inadequate furniture and inadequate equipment. Repetitive or intensive keyboard work, other work activities can often exacerbate these issues. Headaches, eye strain, sore or tired eyes can result from poor lighting, glare and reflections on the screen or in the user's visual range. Also, dry eyes, throat and nose due to low humidity or inadequate temperature or ventilation control can all impact employees' health. In the Avonshaw Library of Documents, you'll find the template DSE risk assessment that can be used to record the hazards, the risks, and the controls associated with your DSE workstation and its associated equipment. Risk assessments for DSE workstations will typically be carried out by the user of that workstation. So make sure you've read and fully understand the contents of any DSE guides that you have before completing the assessment form. Now, a DSE user is likely to be a person who uses DSE as a significant part of their normal work for between 1 to 2 or indeed even more hours per day, or intensive use on a regular basis. Any temporary employees, agency staff, work experience and interns must also be included within this definition. Workstations include the display screen, the keyboard, and any other input devices. It also includes accessories like printers, the document holder, the chair, the desk, the work surface, as well as the environment around the display screen, for example, heating, lighting, and noise. Workstations should be safe, comfortable places to work, with all the facilities necessary for you to carry out your tasks. They should not cause you unnecessary stress and fatigue, and they should not present any significant risk of causing accidents or injuries. DSE equipment and other items should be placed in positions where they can be used comfortably without you having to adopt awkward or hazardous postures or cause you to overreach. Now, the chair is probably the single most important item of furniture for avoiding musculoskeletal disorders, MSDs, aches and pains of the back, neck, shoulders and arms. Before attempting to adjust your chair, you should make sure you're familiar with the various adjustments and how they work. The chair must have a 5-star caster or glide base and be stable and have all of the components in good, full working order. The chair must have sufficient design features to allow it to be set up correctly for all persons who may potentially use it. It must offer adequate back and thigh support, potentially including an adjustable or an inflatable lumbar support. It must be height adjustable. If your knees are at a 90-degree angle, approximately horizontal to your hips, then this is the correct height for you. The chair must accommodate the stature and weight of the user. It must provide for height and tilt adjustment of the seat and the backrest, although these do not have to be independent mechanisms. Most work chairs come with armrests, and they're intended to support the arms when you're at rest from your DSE work. They should not be used as an extension of the desk to rest your arms upon whilst using the keyboard or the input device, as there is a risk of irritating the nerves in the elbow or the lower arm. The work desk should be sufficiently large to accommodate the equipment, including the display screen monitor, processor, keyboard, mouse, the telephone, a document holder, and indeed any other equipment or documentation you need to perform your role. One DSE setup should fit comfortably onto that workspace, with the equipment located directly in front of you. More equipment may need to be rationalized so that you need to use only one keyboard, mouse, and screen, or alternatively, more desk space may be required. There should be sufficient space under the desk or table for your legs to fit comfortably into what we generally call the footwell area. If this is not the case, look at what is restricting your legs. If the tops of your thighs or knees touch the underside of the desk when you bend your knees to 90 degrees, the desks need to be raised. If you have boxes, files, backpack, or other materials under the desk, then move them to a more appropriate storage area. If your feet are catching on cables or a floor trap for power sockets and network supply, then the cables need to be tidied or the floor trap moved safely. The monitor should be suitable for your role and the tasks you need to carry out. Some software packages may require different resolutions, colours, or screen sizes which are different to the monitor you have. Where you have to continually scroll up and down the screen to view documents, spreadsheets, and information, your monitor size may need to be increased to reduce this for you. Your monitor should be placed directly in front of you, and the recommended viewing distance is approximately 600 millimeters, roughly arm's length, but this can vary depending upon your personal circumstances. The viewing height of your monitor is also important for a comfortable viewing position, and it will depend on your personal circumstances again. From your normal seating position looking straight ahead, the top of the viewing screen should be roughly level with your eyes to allow you to comfortably view the top third of the screen. If the monitor is too high, you may find that you are lifting your head and cricking your neck, whereas if the set is too low, your back may slouch to bring your head down to a better viewing position. Once you have the monitor height positioned appropriately, set the display screen to a vertical or minimum tilt position to allow for comfortable viewing. Then check there are no distracting reflections or glare either directly onto the screen or in your line of vision which interferes with your viewing of the screen. Laptop equipment by itself can allow the keyboard to be in a suitable position, but this will not provide an appropriate viewing distance because in effect the screen will be too close for prolonged daily use. If your laptop screen is large enough for comfortable longer-term viewing, it can be placed on a laptop riser stand to achieve the appropriate viewing distance and height. If not, a docking station or direct wiring should be used to connect with an external monitor, and you'll need a separate keyboard and mouse to complete this workstation setup. Place the keyboard directly in front of you so that you can reach the home keys comfortably, with your elbows tucked into the side of your body and your forearms extended horizontally in front of you. There should be approximately 100 to 150 millimeters gap from the front edge of the desk to the front edge of the keyboard to allow you to rest your hands when you're not typing. The wrist rest, potentially placed between the edge of the desk and the keyboard, is not really designed for support, but to ensure straight arm and straight wrist posture. Avoid overextending your wrists, raising the fingers upwards, by using the keyboard in a flatter position and using a comfortable wrist rest to the same height as the keyboard as necessary. Your keyboard and mouse should be positioned near the height of your resting elbow. Your mouse should be positioned so your arm is comfortable, neutral, and as close to the keyboard as possible in alignment with your shoulder. Incorrect positioning of the mouse can put unnecessary strain on your arm and shoulder. When your keyboard and mouse are properly adjusted, your wrists will be level and straight, and you'll be able to use your mouse without bending the wrist. You'll be able to use the keyboard without resting your wrist on the surface or edge of the desk. When using DSE for prolonged periods, ensure that regular breaks away from the workstation are incorporated into your work routine. As a guide, short, frequent breaks are better. For every 55 minutes that you work at DSE, you should perhaps take a 5-minute break, or a quick 2-minute break every 30 minutes. The absolute durations of the break are not as important as breaking up the long routine work periods where fixed postures are not relaxed. It's more beneficial to take a break away from the workstation, as this allows you to vary your posture. It's not essential to take a complete rest break, but rotate your tasks so that you're completing physically dissimilar activities, such as using the phone or filing or mail sorting. You should avoid physically similar tasks, such as writing or using a calculator during these DSE breaks. The timing of the breaks is actually more important than the length, so you should try to ensure that these breaks are taken before you become tired. Poor or inappropriate lighting may be a significant cause of problems for display screen users. There should be sufficient ambient lighting in the area to enable you to see both the screen and the documents clearly, but not so bright or glaring that the screen is difficult to read. Also consider DSE equipment placement in terms of windows. Consider the use of window blinds as necessary to reduce unwanted bright daylight at certain times of the day. Sites with large amounts of electrical equipment, DSE or photocopies or printers, are often hot and stuffy, and the humidity levels drop, giving rise to static electric shocks, which can result in fatigue, headaches, dry throats and eyes. Such problems can also rise due to the lack of fluid, so drink water regularly and avoid too many caffeinated drinks if you can. Try to avoid unnecessary clutter around as well as under your desk. It may make it difficult for you to reach or use the equipment properly. So keep your desk and the area around the workstation tidy. Keep electrical cables tidy to reduce fire hazards as well as the chance of tripping. Once the DSE risk assessment has been completed, typically you'll need to send the form to your manager, whilst keeping a copy for yourself. Your manager must ensure that you are informed of the results of the assessment and receive any instruction and training as required, that any actions or other improvements found to be necessary are implemented, that the assessment is reviewed periodically and whenever significant change occurs, and that a record of the assessment is also kept readily available for reference. Maintain an ongoing dialogue with your manager regarding any actions identified on the assessment and any other issues or changes which occur which could necessitate a review of the risk assessment. We already know that the third step of the risk assessment process introduces the hierarchy of control, the idea that there is a preferred order in which we might consider the various controls that we could implement. The best thing that we can do with a hazard is to get rid of it. That's elimination. Although top of the hierarchy of control, elimination is not always possible. Sometimes we need to use the items that bring about the hazards to do a specific job or task. So for DSE use, correct equipment selection and administrative controls and training are the most likely measures to be adopted when using display screen equipment. The Avonshaw Health and Safety team are here to help. So if you do have any questions about DSE use, give the helpline a call and discuss those issues with them. They'll be more than happy to help. Thank you for watching and listening to this module. You can now explore the other modules at your leisure. Goodbye.